Hi everyone, and welcome back to FemLogic AI, where we show you how to save time and use that time hopefully to do something that will bring you joy. So thanks for coming by again. Today we're going to show you how you can optimize and make sure that Chat GPT's persona is always talking in the way you want to. So this is a fun little trick that has been recently added to Chat GPT, and I think it's really cool. So first, let's get started and I'll show you how that works. All right, guys, let's get started. So the first thing I always do when I come into Chat GPT is I go in here and I make sure that I'm either on 3.5 or I'm on 4. Now, I do have the paid account, therefore I can use the 4, but yeah, you may not have that. So I also go in here when I'm on my paid account and make sure that I'm on the default or whatever particular area I'm trying to use inside the OpenAI, because I have been in a situation where I was in DALL-E 3 and I was trying to do something with Bing and I just got all confused. So just make sure you know where you are. So the important things to remember when we're talking about optimizing ChatGPT or using any prompt is I always, if you've watched any of my other videos, I go over, you want to tell it who you are in the prompt, what you want it to do or how you want it to act, and then you want to give it an example. But ChatGPT's got a new feature in here where we can add those instructions and make them automatic unless we tell it not to. So if I use this mostly for my personal and not my business, maybe I want to tell it, I want everything to be a little funny, I think I'm a little funny. And so things like that. So you can, add humor to it. Or if I use it mostly for business, maybe I don't want that at all. I want it to always act as a business professional with bullet pointed items, always have the highest temperature possible, meaning the most formal I can get. So, whatever you need there, you can now do that. So all you do is you click on these 3 little dots. And so think of it as a persona of you. So you are telling ChatGPT who you are and how you want it to act. Now, if you look here, mine are grayed out. And the reason for that is, if you scroll down here, you can see I do not have them enabled. So I want to enable it. So I'm going to enable it, meaning that now that it's enabled, anytime that I, put it in any kind of instructions inside ChatGPT, it's going to refer to these custom instructions that I have given it. So the important thing here just is to remember that, like I said, if you're using it for business and personal like I do, you're going to want to make sure that you turn it off and on as needed, or, maybe this is too much for you. Maybe you just rather type it in. But personally, I find this really useful. So I come in here and I say, I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a program manager in IT and I love to sew and boat. That's not really relevant to, necessarily, but what you'd really want to put in here is, if you are a content creator, I would say I think the area of the country that you live in or country you live in probably would be relevant if you are, speaking in a business environment, or if you're talking about local things. Maybe it'll pull in local information if you're using ChatGPT with Bing. So it can pull in, like if you're asking for local restaurants. So you don't necessarily have to put in where you live. It might look something like, I am a content creator for I'm going to say a viral YouTube channel about, let's say, coffee. A lot of people like coffee. I give up coffee, so it's on my mind. I'm a content creator for the virtual YouTube channel about coffee. Let's see. I am an expert coffee I'm going to say coffee bean roaster, and have my own, I'm going to say own brand. So I'm telling it that I'm an expert and that I have a YouTube channel and I talk about coffee and that I roast beans. And so you can give it as many instructions as you want about you or how, whatever you want it to act as. So you could say I'm a professional writer, or I'm expert public relations, all those things. So you are telling it not necessarily about you, but about how you want it to act. So then you're going to come over here and you're going to say, all right, so this is the who you are. Now we're going to say, how would you like ChatGPT respond? And so I would like it to respond in lighthearted, maybe a little funny, make it in short paragraph. If you're writing for business, maybe you want bullet points. I know it's always important to know your audience. So, depending on the person or the audience that you have, maybe bullet points work better for them. So, and I would say, for me, I would say include emojis. I like emojis. Include emojis. And I would say links to relevant content. And I'm actually going to spell both of those wrong. Yeah. All right. As you can tell, if you follow along, I'm not great at spelling. Thank goodness for spell check. All right. So I've got all of those in there. I'm going to say enter. I'm going to, excuse me, scroll down, and I'm going to click save. So now anytime that I ask it something, so let me ask it a business question. So since I made this about that I'm a coffee YouTube thing, let me ask it a business question, and I will say, and so I can either do this in the browse, or I can say browse with Bing. And so I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, tell me about the best-selling coffee. I'm going to say, tell me about the best-selling coffee, and let's see what it does. The best-selling coffee is like the pop song that you can't get out of your head. So it's in a very casual tone, like I told it. It has used emojis. It has responded in a way that I told it I was. So that's really awesome. So now the important thing here to remember is we have it enabled. So if you disable this, and so let's use that same prompt, and I'm going to go in and you are going to have to reset, so to speak. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to copy I'm going to copy this particular one. I'm going to go into my customization instructions. And for now, I'm going to disable it just so that you can see what the difference is. So I'm going to disable that, and I'm going to save it, meaning it will not use it. So now I'm going to create a new chat. So if you stay in this chat, it's going to use the instructions there that you have because you've already set it up. So I'm going to create a new chat. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to post in, tell me about the best-selling coffee. Again, I am in the browse with Bing. I'm in browsing with Bing and I'm going to say go. And let's see what it does. And so it's going to browse and it's going to say the best-selling coffee. So it's going to go out there. So rather than respond in a lighthearted tone like I told it to with emojis, it's actually going to give me a very precise, professional response. Probably, it's giving me links. It's going to go out there on the internet and it's pulling out data that it's coming in. So it's going to be very factual versus very conversational like I had asked it. So as you can see, those are going to be the differences between when you put in your custom instructions versus your non-custom instructions. You just use it as it is. Just remember always which if you have it enabled or not. So that's the important thing there. Other things I always like to say is give it an example. So if you like this and I say, okay, turn this into information into a viral, I'm going to say LinkedIn post, because those tend to be LinkedIn post that is 1,000 characters or less. And let's see. So I can go in here and I can use that information and I can tell it, all right, look at that. So it gives me all kinds of little emojis. I really like how it made very colorful here. And it's given me, and I'm not going to copy and count these words, but I'm saying it's just 999. So it came very, very close to the very end of all the characters I asked it to. So that's pretty cool. So you can use those tools to do those things. And so like we talked about before, is optimizing also means giving it an example. So a lot of times I'll go out there and find something else I wrote that was very, viral, and I will give it an example. And so or you can say, give me this data in bullet points. And let's see what it does. And so it's going to give you bullet pointed data here on that information. So that's pretty cool. So there's a lot of things. I do like to be very specific. You can also use the style of the person you want. I am against writing books and songs that are like a Taylor Swift song or a, like John Lennon song. Like I feel like those artists worked really hard to get their name out there. And I don't think it's fair to have it write those songs for you. And you can also not copyright them. So that's a good thing. But, as things go on, so give it an example of something you really like. So I do think it's fair to go out here and say, all right, give me an example of, so a lot of times I'll go out to someone else's like LinkedIn and I will copy something that thought that was really smart. And I will say, okay, make mine formatted in this way. So if somebody formatted it a way I like, so you can use that. So there's lots of really cool ways you can optimize it. But that's a really neat thing that was added to Chat GPT, and I think it's pretty valuable. All right, thanks for staying with me today, and I hopefully showed you something new about how to optimize your persona inside of Chat GPT so that instead of typing out all that stuff each time, it automatically knows things about you, which is great and very useful and time-saving. So thank you, Chat GPT, for that. We appreciate your time, and hopefully we taught you how to make something faster in your life so that you can free up some time to do things that bring you joy. So thanks and have a great day.